My son had PANS and now he's thriving. There is hope. Where it all started was Owen was born 12 weeks early and was definitely one of those mini preemies. He was 2 pounds, 2 ounces, and spent a little over 2.5 months in the NICU. So we call him our $1 million child. We realized pretty quickly that Owen had this anxious attachment. And I think that has so much to do with how he came into this world. But it was something that really came to the forefront as he started going into just kind of his early learning. He ended up getting a generalized anxiety diagnosis at 3.5. And that really brought some things to the forefront, but there was so much still that we needed to find out about what was going on with him. He struggled. He struggled going into kindergarten. He got suspended in kindergarten. And that was the first thing that kind of led to his entire kindergarten, elementary school career, just getting suspended many, many times, and me getting that phone call and freezing. We're like, oh my gosh, it's school again. What's going on? So clearly he was having a hard time kind of holding it together when he was in the school environment. We tried many different methodologies. Nothing was working. And I think I've shared a few times before, it was like throwing spaghetti at the wall. Nothing was sticking, nothing was working. We really realized it was gluten, red dye 40, and Miralax were things that were really affecting his body in ways that we were still unclear how at that point. But we thought a lot of it was just behavior, and we were trying to do things kind of from the outside in, but realizing we really need to take the approach of helping him from the inside out, meaning from whatever's going on inside of his body is coming out. It's seeming like behavior, but it's just his way of communicating something's not right. When within 20 minutes of eating a bowl of mac and cheese, for example, he would either be spinning around in circles or banging his head into the wall. And same thing with food dye and red 40 specifically. He was flopping around on the floor like a fish after those things were ingested, especially Miralax. We saw that immediately. And this was something that was prescribed at the time by his naturopath. And that was another clue to me that Western medicine, even naturopathic medicine, isn't getting it right for a lot of complex kids. So that was out immediately. And that's really where we saw a lot of aggression. When I really think back to that moment that shifted for me is we were attempting to do family therapy. And again, it was the outside in approach, and realizing that it wasn't effective as we hoped it'd be. And when we heard from our therapist that she felt like there was really nothing more she could do for our family, it just felt so deflating and lonely, and like, what do we do next? Once we really understood root cause, that's when things completely changed. And I would say specifically and I was one of those moms that went into scientific researcher mode, and I was constantly looking for what can we do better? And I found documenting hope. And I found the theory of total load. And that's when it clicked for me. That was that big aha moment that I had, and realizing, and let me back up for a moment, because so we had the series of events that took place, we started to make some progress, and then it shifted again. And that's when PANS came into our son's life. And it was after a small bout with COVID, a big out-of-state move, really having anxiety kind of creep in, and exposure to mold. So those three things led to our understanding of PANS really inflaming our son's body. And that's when total load came into play, and realizing that some kids just have different, like if you can explain it as like every kid has a bucket, and every kid has a different level that bucket can fill up. And for PANS kids, it just can completely overflow when you have these multiple factors that are affecting their bodies. So infections, toxins, just environmental overload in general, all of those things start to add up, and he just broke at that point. We got to the point where it was school refusal. His social anxiety was through the roof, and he just felt terrible. It was at the point where his body was so sensitive, he couldn't even shower for an entire month. Really assembling the right care team helped us tremendously. And it was kind of three key factors in all of that. So it was finding a functional nutritionist, Jess Sherman, who's fantastic. She's out of Canada, and doing work with her remotely has been really, really helpful for our family. Also working with a very rare find, which is a local doctor of Chinese medicine, and really helping us just kind of from a nervous system perspective, and kind of getting that fine-tuned for him. And then also working with a naturopathic doctor who specializes in homeopathy, and they're based out of California. So those three components really helped us kind of get past that obstacle that we've been facing for so long and not seeing that progress. Being in healing together has been it's been such a bright light for me, because to have a resource that is so well thought through and easy to access, and just the amazing community is really making an impact for parents that need it. So it's been an incredible help for my family, and I know many other families, and I love the work that they're doing. Owen today is just in this place where I'm just so excited for his future. So if I were to go back to when he was 10 years old, he proclaimed at an early age, I want to be a commercial airline pilot. And at the time, with so much going on, that seemed impossible to think about. So fast forward to today, he's 16, he's in a special aviation charter school and working on getting his private pilot's license, on his way to really fulfilling his dream. I would say over this last year was probably our highest high, knowing that kind of culminates. So we've had some really disaster years, and then this past year has been, we took like 15 trips traveling all over the country, and having that ability to not have to worry, oh my gosh, am I gonna have to pack our food, all of our food, we can't eat out, or he's gonna get so much anxiety that we're gonna not be able to make it on the airplane. All of those things that sat with us for so long are now gone. So I'm pretty thrilled about that.